Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at Vechain. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. So overall, Vechain looks good right now. We are on TradingView. This is the daily chart. We do have the Fib set up from the swing high in April to the swing low in May, thus giving us a technical target of the next impulsive wave over here at 79 cents. So from where we are right now to that target, why doesn't the root, there we go. That gives us a target of 78 cents, around about 600%. Now, this is a weekly trend line. This is the trend line from the weekly chart, and this gives us a multi-month support. Okay, so usually when you have a bounce off of this trend line, you do get a bullish cross on the daily 20 EMA and the 55 EMA. And once you get that bullish cross, you see the appreciation in price. So this is the bullish cross in April last year, right after the COVID dump. This is the bullish cross after the November pullback that we got in 2020. And you can see the appreciation we got there. And now we had another bounce off of here in July and another bullish cross with some nice price appreciation. And right now we did have another bounce, but on the daily you can see that the candles did open below this support, but on the weekly, this is a weekly trend line. Like I said, on the daily it may just look a bit off, but we're just about to get that daily 20 EMA and 55 EMA bullish cross, which would actually bring us up. Hopefully this is what is going to send Vechain to new all-time highs. But as always, you need to have Bitcoin in mind. If Bitcoin is going to have a pullback, if we're going to have that little flash crash to the low 50Ks or high 40Ks, because I think it's going to happen. It's pretty logical if you think about it. Bitcoin price rises, a lot of long positions are being opened, thus giving the exchanges and all the whales, well, mainly the exchanges, an opportunity to dump the prices and thus liquidating all the long positions. And that's just a nice payday, you know? So we just need to wait for about $1 billion in long positions or more, and for them to just liquidate all that in one day, and then we'll be ready for the next leg up is what I think. But right now, as you can see, we do have the Fib up, and 14 cents, 688 is going to be your golden ratio. This is the golden ratio, the most important Fib level that you have to break in order to come back up, because usually what happens is you get rejected from it. But if you get rejected, you can come back to this trend line and have another bounce, or you can just blast through it, retest it back as support, and then start getting to those new all-time highs. Because if you break this golden ratio, there's little to none resistance keeping you from going to that previous all-time high, except the 0.786 obviously, but that resistance isn't as strong as the 618. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you see this broken, then you can just enter a position once you have a back test of support, because you usually have a back test of support of resistance after you break it. So you break up, back test of support, that's where you enter, but do enter just a bit above the Fib level. Okay, now let's jump into Binance. Okay, so here we are on the weekly chart. You can see the trend line is being respected. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 bounces off of this trend line. It's keeping us safe. If this trend line gets broken in the future, that's when you're going to see the rollover, and that's perhaps the bear that everybody is going to be looking for after this bull market. And do not be mistaken, a bear market will come. Whether it'll be a smaller bear market or whatnot, it doesn't matter. There will be a bear market, a sort of a bear market. So don't be disillusioned that we're going to be in this uptrend forever, okay? There will be a crash like the one that happened in May, okay? And you need to take profits before that. Though I'm not a financial advisor, this is what I'm just giving you out of my experience, okay? So on the weekly chart, we're above the 20 EMA, which is bullish. Now, all we need to do is break this high. This is the important thing. We need to break this high, because if you come up and you get rejected from this resistance and you fall back down, and if you lose this neckline, you have technical targets to the downside. But I don't envision that happening unless Bitcoin has a major pullback. So what can happen is we either come back and get rejected and look for support and then just break out, or we break out immediately and have a retest of support. So that's what I'm looking at for Vechain. Obviously, we're going to need to hold support levels. So you can put some buy orders at the 55 EMA on the weekly chart. That's something you can do, and look for the 55 EMA on the daily chart. Now, looking at the RSI looking completely healthy for Vechain. Nothing overextended. We do see this support trend line being respected over a number of months. So yeah, it's literally doing perfect. Yeah, 3 bounces off of this trend line. We're doing very good. I think this is going to be our support going forward. Major support for the bear market, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, once you see the RSI on the weekly coming up to these levels over here, right, to the overbought, above the 70 on the index, that's when you start thinking about selling. Okay. Now we do have a bearish cross on the weekly chart, which is a lagging indicator. Okay, so these bearish crosses on the MACD just confirm the downtrend, and we were in a downtrend for a bit, right? So this is the confirmation pretty much of this move. So you have this move up, right, and now this move down over here, this move down. This is the confirmation of that move by the MACD with this bearish cross, right? So September 6th, that's when you got the bearish cross, and September 6th, and you could have sold when you got that bearish cross and waited for us to bottom out, and you could have entered September 27th. Okay, that's how the MACD works. Now the stock RSI has started coming back down, but you can see now it's starting to curl back up, and if we have another impulsive move, then this is where you want to be selling on the weekly chart for the stock RSI. Okay, so keep in mind the RSI, the stock RSI, they will give you nice opportunities to look at the markets and think, wait, is this when I sell? Is this when I want to be taking profits? Because just looking at the charts, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. Well, obviously, if the price goes, if the price does something like this and goes parabolic, then obviously you want to be taking profits over here. You don't want to have greed that's going to tell you, well, we can go even higher and you can have more money by selling even higher. Even if you do go higher, the sell-off from there will be so fast that you won't be able to sell over here, and you'll be panic selling over here once you start dipping. Because once even you get here, let's say you got here and you want to be selling here, the exchange or whatever, it may not just work. Sometimes exchanges do that so that the retail couldn't buy in at these dips or sell at major peaks, so that the whales could do that, and it just prevents people from selling the highs pretty much. So yeah, look for that. Now jumping into the daily chart, let's see what we got going on over here. Okay, so this is going to be our major resistance zone, just over here. Okay, so this is the resistance that you get from here. Okay, this is the resistance that you get from these couple of candles. As you can see, we are in a bearish pattern on the 4-hourly chart. Okay, so that's why I envision a pullback. We'll see. There's a viewer who got into a long position and wants me to give him some notes, and we're gonna do that just by the end of the video. But you can see that we're going for that bullish cross, and you can invalidate this rising wedge by simply breaking the resistance up here. Okay, so you do have the support below the blue line, and the blue line above is resistance. If you break above that backtest of support, you're invalidating the pattern. But we'll take a look at that on the 4-hourly chart. Here on the daily, looking very healthy. We have broken through a major RSI resistance over here, as you can see. One bounce, second rejection, and here for the third time we went back up. Okay, so you have to look at the RSI for things like that because they will give you the indicators you need. Now the stock RSI has me worried, to be honest with you. You can see that you can stay in the overbought for quite a while on the RSI, on the stock RSI from July to August. You know, for nearly a month you were here in the overbought. So right now is, I think we're starting to do the same thing, and we can just stay in this overbought for quite some time. So just be careful when you see this rolling. That's potentially the the catalyst for the pullback. You know, this can give you a little, it's like a looking glass. You look at this and it just shows you what the price is going to do later on. Okay, this just shows the steam, the losing of the steam of the trend, and losing the bulls basically losing their power. Now if we jump to the 4 hourly chart, and by the way, I looked at the RSI for the price and the price to look for any bearish and bullish divergences. I didn't find any at the minute. So if you do find any, please let me know. So on the 4 hourly chart, we're in a bull, in this bullish cross, which is great. You can see that we had this parabolic movement, and you do have a target from this rising wedge. Now a rising wedge, as you can see over here, you start tightening up and then you fall back down to support. The support is where you, or the technical target I should say, is where you formed the rising wedge. So that's 10 cents 421. Okay, this is where you're potentially going to come back down if you fall out of this pattern. You know, and if you don't invalidate it, obviously if you invalidate it, then you're not looking at this target over here. But what I want to do is I want to bring up the Fib retracement. Okay, so the viewer that entered a long position entered it from, I think he entered at 10 cents, right? Shout out to you, buddy. Hopefully you're watching this video. So you can see that I did throw up the Fib from the swing high to the swing low over here. And pretty much what we're doing is we're attacking this high at the minute. If we get pulled back and we lose the support, you're looking at this target, and that target is sitting exactly where the golden ratio is. If I just move this price tag, the golden ratio is sitting at 10.532, and it's just above this target that I gave you. This means that you're going to lose the 55 EMA on the 4 hourly chart and the 20 EMA. Come back here, have a bounce. That's your move up. This is what I'm looking at, because if you want to get to the next fib level, which is 1.272 at 13.820 cents, that means you're going to have to invalidate this rising wedge, because the closer you get to the apex, the more likely you are to break down. So, you know, this is what I would do personally. I don't do futures at all, and I don't recommend doing them because they're too risky. So what I would do is, you can see that below the 0.618, you have the 0.5 sitting exactly at 10 cents, just a bit above 10 cents. So 10.028. That's what you have. I would put your stop loss just below the 0.5, okay? Because you may just end up bouncing from there, okay? And this is in the case if we lose the support and come back to the 0.618 and lose that as support, okay? Because that potentially can happen. Now, if we invalidate, okay, if we invalidate this rising wedge and come back to this target, that's where I would close, because I do anticipate a pullback on Bitcoin. And from where you entered, which is, let's say, just over here to there, that's a 38% trade. So just put a sell order just below this fib, which is at 13.820, and just put it at 13.82 cents, and you know, that's your pretty much 37% profit, which is a nice trade, to be honest with you. But like I said, this rising wedge doesn't look good. Usually it just plays out. You know, you could get supported by the 0.786. That's totally possible. But like I said, the technical target is over here at 10 cents 421. Okay, so that's little TA for you, my friend. Hopefully that helps you out. Obviously, I can't give you any financial, you know, advice, but I wouldn't be eligible to do that. But thank you for watching. I'm gonna catch you the next one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Goodbye and good night.